Tomorrow is May 1, 2020. Things are just fine. Now, May 1, I have heard, is the beginning of Mother-in-Law Month. We're supposed to be nice to our mothers-in-law this month. So I thought I would start by telling a story about my mother-in-law. Now, many of us have in-laws. And, if you're in Virginia and you have a mother-in-law, she goes to church on Sundays and dresses very conservatively and has probably a little closet with knick-knack stuff from the time she went to Natural Bridge or Virginia Beach or someplace like that. And, it's cool. Very conservative people. So that's probably your Virginia mother-in-law. If you have a mother-in-law from Florida, well, you ever see the movie Meet the Fockers? Where the crazy-ass mother-in-law drinking wine all the time, sniffing coconuts. It's just South Florida stuff. Well, my mother-in-law isn't from either of those places. In fact, when I first asked Diane, my wife, long before we got married, and I knew I was going to meet the mother-in-law, so, well, tell me a little bit about her. Where does she live? I said, well, she lives out west, out there. I said, well, where out west? She said, well, she wanders. I said, cool. I said, but when she's not wandering, where does she live? She goes, well, she lives in her Volkswagen van and travels. I said, she lives in a van? I said, yeah. How cool is that? Because I used to live in a van. Mine was a Dodge van, a little pop-top thing, and I used to get together with Gary Mullins or Grady Corson and go camping for, months at a time in the summers. But not as a permanent resident, so I thought that was pretty cool. And I said, well, anything unique about her? He goes, well, she's pretty smart. She used to write code for the rockets at Cape Canaveral. I thought, so that's pretty smart. And she's Buddhist. I go, well, that's pretty cool too. So, right off the bat, I've got a pretty interesting, concept in my head of who she is. What they didn't tell me, one of many things, is that she had one eye, which is okay. A lot of people have one eye. And she has a glass eye now, but back then she had two eyes, but they would point in like different directions. So when I finally met her, you really couldn't tell if she was speaking to you or the person next to you. So, because, it's like Marty Feldman, and well, not quite that bad. But, so if I'm sitting with my brother-in-law Mark and Steve on the couch, and Amrita would say an open-ended question like, how are you doing? You really didn't know if you were supposed to be the one responding or not. And sometimes I go, well, I'm fine. She'd say, I was speaking to Mark. I said, well, I'm sorry. So, but the first time I met her, she was driving the Volkswagen van at the time, and I had never seen her or the van. And that distinctive sound that a Volkswagen makes, this little high-pitched whine, pleasant sound. I used to have a Volkswagen. But I heard it coming in the distance, and this was not like any Volkswagen I had ever heard before. It was, instead of the high-pitched whine, it was more like a primal scream. You figure it's like the agonal breathing of some beast that the natives had speared. Yes. And then kaboom, and silence. She had arrived. And I looked out the window, and I did not see a Volkswagen van. I saw a cloud of blue smoke obscuring the entirety of the front yard. And as the gentle sea breeze finally wafted away the smoke, this is wafting away the smoke, to waft. Once the smoke had been properly wafted, it came to view. It was this horrid-looking beast of a Volkswagen van. To this day, I do not know what was holding it together. Maybe the paint. What was left of the paint, it was mostly rust, but it was unique. And when she got out of the van, I did not know that she would be dressed like Richie Havens. I did not know that she was the original hippie. And she got out with these flowing robes, and Richie Havens came up to the front door, and we met her, and it was wonderful. And a couple of years later, when she got her new eye, went down to Bascom Palmer and got a brand new eye, she decided to pull a joke on us. On the way back from Bascom Palmer, we knew that she was going to have the operation to take out the eye that was always looking in the wrong direction. And that she was going to come back with a nice glass eye. And we met her at the door in her Richie Havens flowing robes, again, still. And she said hi. And both eyes looked at us. And they looked in the same direction. And you really couldn't tell which one was real and which one wasn't. Beautiful. So we're sitting down on the couch, and she says, well, how you doing? And I knew she was speaking to me. I said, fine, thank you. She said, I'm doing well, but I've got a bit of a cold. You, the most violent sneeze you have ever seen in your life. And I hear this tink, and rolling across the floor, I look down. It's a fucking glass eye. I thought she'd sneezed it out of her head. And it rolled to my feet. I was freaking out. And I looked up, and she is beside herself with laughter. This woman had gone to the novelty shop on the way back from the Eye Institute and purchased a fake glass eye. One of the types where you roll and it always looks at you while it's rolling. And when she sneezed, she rolled it across the floor to my feet. That's my mother-in-law. And she's really kind of neat. She had and still has this meditation thing. And I asked Diane one year, I kind of lose track of her from time to time, where is she now? Oh, she's teaching at the Buddhist monastery in Woodstock, New York. You know, I thought that's pretty cool. But I think I know why she goes by the name Amrita instead of her given name. She says it's because of religious purposes. I think it's because she's wanted for something out west. All right, that's my story about the mother-in-law. I'd like to hear yours. Thanks, bye.